Hello everyone, welcome to my new video. Today I'm going to show you how to make a piano in JavaScript. Have you ever wanted to play piano and play your browse computer at the same time? So yes, you can do it using JavaScript. Here's the example. Let me show you. Doesn't have a graphic interface looking like a real piano, but if you hit the button, you can play the piano. And if I press left shift key, I can make it quiet. I can toggle the sound from quiet too loud. So if somebody enters your room, you can quickly make it quiet. Nobody will hear what you're doing. Okay, so how to do it? This is the ready program. It's not much in HTML, but everything is done in JavaScript. This is the ready program, but I don't want to show you just ready program. I want to explain a little bit. So let's go to learning file and get started. So first, to create HTML skeleton in Visual Studio, you can hit Shift and exclamation mark. Then you have ready HTML skeleton. And now I just create JavaScript files here because I don't want to spend time on expressing how to create, for example, piano button using CSS. You can watch another video for this, but here let's do JavaScript. So first of all, how is sound generated in JavaScript? It's not like Turbo Pascal. For example, when I was a kid, I was fiddling with Turbo Pascal, so you could just generate the sound automatically. For example, you could play, for example, 440 hertz, and this programming language would generate the sound. JavaScript doesn't have inbuilt sound, so if you want to play any sound using JavaScript, you need to download the files, just like what I did. I have all the scale of C from C4 to C5 diatonic scale, including only C scale. So I downloaded them on the internet. You can also find it on the internet, or maybe download from the page, from my GitHub page. I will include it in the description of my video. Okay, so I have this found with files which I downloaded. Let's say I want to play file C4. This is C4. I want to play it using JavaScript. How can I do it? So we need to declare this sound in a variable. So let's create a variable constant uh, sound C4 equals new audio. That's how we write it. And in the parentheses here, we write the name of the file. So for example, c4.mp3. This is an mp3 file. Okay, so we already have the file which is stored in this variable, but we need to access it. So how can we access it? You need to do something like generate function which will call this variable. So you can do it document add event listener, and what kind of. So first let's do click. Click is with the mouse, and here we write function parentheses curly brackets. So we call sound c4 dot play and parentheses. So just this name of the variable dot play will call this sound, and this sound will be played only if you click your mouse. Let's see if it works. Okay, so we can go to don't forget about closing with the semicolon. Let's go to this program here, and I'm gonna click mouse. Yes, it works. It's working, so you can access the sound here this way. You could write function in a shorter way, more concise. Instead of writing function, you can just type here. This is called arrow function. Just type parentheses and arrow, and it will do exactly the same job. Yes, so for shorter codes in event listener, it's often used this way. Okay, so we know that we can generate sound on click. We can also generate sound on key down event. Key down event is any button of the keyboard is hit. So now we will use the keyboard of the button. So that's what we want to do. We want to use the keyboard just like in the piano. So now I can click any button, hit any button. Yes, can you hear that? Why? This is key down event, and sound should be played. No, there's one problem, as you can see, that we need to wait. we need to wait for a long time until we can hit the button again. Why is that? Because all these sounds, you can see by default they are 5 seconds, so we need to wait 5 seconds until the sound is finished. So how can we fix it? We can do something like that: current time equals 0. So before we play the sound, we need to type sound name C4 and then type current time equals 0, sound for dot. So this will enable, it will make it possible to play the sound many times, even before it's finished. Let's see if it works. Yes, as you can see, so that's the basic function of piano, that you can hit the buttons anytime you want. You don't have to wait for one button to finish. So you remember, you can use current time equals 0, you will get it. Okay, we know now that we press key down, it means any button of the keyboard, and then we can play the sound. But to make a piano, we need to assign particular sound to the specific button. So for example, button A will be sound C, button S will be sound D. Okay, so how to do it? Then we need to write E here, event. This represents E. You could type event, or you can just simply write E shortly. And then we will use conditional statements. But first, let's declare other sounds. So, because now we have only one variable, we need more variables, more sounds. So now we will choose sounds D4, and we can access it from D4 MP3. Okay, we have two constants. So we will create a conditional statement here. If key, now if event key, right, if event key equals is identical to A is the name of the button of the keyboard, then what's gonna happen? This we will do, we will play sound C. Else, if any other button is played, if any other button is hit, then we're gonna play sound D. Okay, let's listen to it. This is sound C. Yes, it's working as we wanted, as we have planned, but now we have only two sounds, sound C and sound D. But the bottom line is that we can use conditional statement if to choose to assign a specific sound to different button on the keyboard. Okay, that's how it can be done. In this file here, what is worth mentioning, that in the old file I was using something like keycode event. Keycode event is deprecated. For example, instead of letter S, we were using 83. So numerical values are no longer recommended. Still supported, but not recommended. So don't use key code. You can use key or code alone, but not key code together. So we'll fix it. You know what? All the variables, I store them in array of objects here. So I'll just copy and paste here. So instead of typing name separately here of each sound, creating so many different variables, we'll create one array of objects. And as you can see in this array of objects, each sound is saved here from C4 to C5. So we have, this is element 0, this is element 1, 2, 3, 4 until 7. Altogether 8 sounds, but the first index is 0 by default. And then after comma we have is quiet, is boolean value is false, but later we can change it to true. So we will toggle from false to true to upon hitting button shift we can change the sound, whether we want quiet or loud. Okay, so here I also gonna copy and paste this because it's gonna take a little bit of time. Okay, so the program is almost complete, but what I want to replace, I just want to replace this numerical value. So remember, here you can write event key or event code. They're almost identical, but there's some slight differences. For now, I'm just gonna use event key. You can read about it. So the next event is not 83, is S, because S follows A. So then we need to keep order in one line on the keyboard. So the next one is S. The next one, again, not even key code. The next letter is D, and remember this is a string, so we put it in quotation marks. Here we have the next one will be after D is F. After F is G. After G is H. After H is J. And finally the last one here on number 8 is K. So it appears that our program is ready. So we just remove deprecated suggestions, and we're using the latest key down event. Something is not right, it's not playing. Why is that? Maybe this one I can put it in brackets. Let me see. No, this is not the point. It can be brackets or optionally, or it doesn't have to be the brackets. There's a little mistake here. Maybe I could, that's the problem with copying and pasting. Here, I will talk about it a little bit later because this is shift. So how to find shift on the keyboard? This is also challenging, but let's just fix the mistake. This one is forgot. Yeah, we forgot to close the event listener function. This function is a bit closed here at the bottom, okay? And now everything should be okay. Yeah, we can play the piano. We can toggle, but look, how to toggle the sound from loud to quiet. I'm using still deprecated method event code, so here we should not use event key code, but we should change it to shift. ChatGPT mistaken me, he told me to use left shift, but when I type left shift, nothing was happening. So for key code, you need to type shift. Shift capital letter means left shift, starting with capital letter. With a small letter, shift means right shift. Let's see if it works. Yes. Okay, so now I remove all the deprecated forms. We're using keydown events. Now a couple of words about how to loop through the array of objects, how to access all of them. So we need to create array which equals the length of the array, my length of my sounds. Name of the array is my sounds length, which means iterate from 0 to 7. And here we have, it means that for every element, it applies for every element. If we hit button shift, for every element of this array will change from false to true. That's why this is exclamation mark next to it is not. It is a negation. That is quiet is not is quiet. So from false, by default it was false. From false it will change to truth. And later we have something like if my sound is quiet. If it's true, because this one means if this is quiet is true. If it is true, reduce the sound by 70% to 0.3. If it's not true, else keep it normal at 100%. Okay, so you need to keep it in the loop, and then everything is working well. And now we can finally play the piano. Christmas is coming, so let's play Jingle Bells. Something is not right. Let me play the scale. Yeah, we can play the scale. Scale goes in the right sequence, but I started from the wrong button. Okay, never mind. I can play. I'm a good guitarist. You can follow my channel where I play the guitar, but here I messed up the melody. But it works as well. You can try it yourself if you're a good musician. But code works well. That is the most important. The code works well, and you can use it to play other sounds, not only this. Just download file MP3 and you can use this to play any sound and put it in another functions. For example, if you finish the game, you can play the sound that excellent or game over. It can be used for these things. You can also extend this, include more sounds, not just these are just basic. You can download more, maybe 30 or 40, and for each different button on the keyboard, uh, assign this sound. It will be even more cool. Okay, so I hope you learned something and you can now make your own piano and do other things on the laptop and in the meantime relax and play your melody. That's all for today. See you next time. Bye bye.